should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship.
David Hogg just got his ass handed to him. The Parkland High School graduate and now gun control activist David Hogg has been making the rounds as Democrat cities are running rampant with crime thanks to bail reform and defunding the police. But that doesn't matter to people like David Hogg who think we can just magically solve these problems by making everybody defenseless. And somebody decided to say, no, I'm not having it. A video has gone viral of Hogg getting eviscerated by a Chinese immigrant who survived communism during Mao's Cultural Revolution and knows exactly what a tyrannical government does when you disarm the population. In the video, this woman confronts Hogg on his gun-grabbing agenda at a town hall in New Hampshire. Let's take a look at the clip.
Hi, my name is Tang Williams. Welcome to my live free or die state. Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold the communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the US, in DC, will never become a tyrannical government? Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP.
Did you hear Hogg's smug little laugh in the middle of that? I wasn't aware that 20 million people dying of communism was some kind of a joke. Now, I think the reason this video went viral and why it's so powerful is because it is exactly the thing that destroys the argument for gun control. And she makes it perfectly clear. The debate is over. The reason the Second Amendment was created was not for the mere purpose of self-defense or your God-given rights. It was created to restrict government in the event that a government becomes too tyrannical. The Constitution ensures that they are denied permission to infringe on our inalienable rights in any way. And as it says in the Constitution, shall not be infringed, those words did not come with an asterisk. So the woman in the video, Tang Williams, is actually running for Congress in New Hampshire's 2nd District. If I lived in New Hampshire, she would definitely have my vote, but please go ahead and follow her, support her any way that you can. She's an incredible woman speaking the truth about the CCP and how our country is turning into exactly what she fled from, and we need to put a stop to it. Here's a clip of her on Timcast talking about why she will never give up her AR-15.
The whole world should stand up firm against CCP. It has been evil and conditioning Chinese, enslave them with their consent by controlling all the press, all the media, all the military, all the natural resources, all the schools. They control everything. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or not. If you say something, criticize China regulators, some stupid economical laws or something, retire, donate to charity, and do not travel.
Any threat to the legitimacy of the government, the Chinese government, they will completely...
Yes.
I saw a great viral post. I forgot the guy, so forgive me for not crediting you, but he said, you know how sometimes countries are bad, they get worse, and so you flee them to somewhere safe? Imagine now that bad government was the entire planet, and that's globalism. So imagine there's nowhere to go. And that's what's scary about the idea of Chinese expansion. The CCP, I'm sorry, the communist expansion.
That's how I feel. I have no place to go. I'm fighting here. I'm not going to be like my mother who begged in China before, get down on her knees. And that's why I have this. My AR-15.
The things that she's mentioning about the CCP, all that stuff is happening here too. The increase in surveillance, the control of information, all of that stuff is happening right in front of our faces here. And I think Tim makes a good point that if you flee a country where the government is bad, Don't be surprised if you run into the same problems in a country that you think is freer. The idea of globalism is to expand totalitarian rule everywhere in different forms. But the founding principles that this country was built on are the very reasons why people come to America. Unfortunately, those principles are being trampled on, and so many people are losing sight of what made this country great in favor of woke indoctrination and the same propaganda that led to communism. It was also really touching to hear Williams' story on how the founding fathers' documents are the reason why she fled China for America.
One American student changed my life. He told me about America. He put something in my head. Hey, Lily, come to my dorm. I show you something from America. I saw was some piece of art and cool stuff. He showed me a pocket constitution.
Wow.
Oh.
He was not supposed to. That's why he was not trusted. For any college student to see a foreign student or foreign professor, you got to register. There's an old lady or old man as a gatekeeper there. Register my name, my major, my dormitory address. What are you going to talk about? Time in, time out, who are you going to visit? It's all tracked. So by the time I went to his dorm, he showed me this. He told me about Declaration of Independence. Just my English was so bad, I couldn't understand. He just read to me very slowly. We held those truths to be self-evident. What? All men are created equal. What do you mean? Well, Lily, you are a woman, you are Chinese, you have yellow skin, but you are creators, daughter and son. Your rights come from God, not from your government. You have an individual right. Nobody can take away from you. That's in Americans' founding document. My light bulb just came on. I never heard of individual right. I have a right? Me, by myself? Not from my government? My light bulbs will not turn off. It's like I found some critical term called the individual right from God. But I had to cheat, because if you don't register, you get caught. The police will take you away. So I had to just, when lady goes to pull the tea, go to bathroom, I will sneak upstairs. And I will run downstairs very quietly. And then he told me more about Constitution, separation of powers, and the right to vote, Bill of Rights, most important, Second Amendment right. It's like, wow, this is can you imagine my feeling? It's like I have this, it's like finally I was searching for something, and I found it as a junior year student in college.
Now, getting back to David Hogg, how exactly did he become the poster child for the Democrat Party's gun control agenda? Someone who is from Los Angeles, California, and moved to Parkland, Florida as a high schooler, and just happens to be a senior at the same time that the shooting at Stoneman Douglas High School took place. Now, we might get censored for even questioning this, but I want to show you a clip of Hogg in an interview on CNN, and I always found it very strange how he was just stumbling on his lines.
Because we had a fire alarm earlier that day, and that was a drill, so we thought this was a drill too, just another one. Because we have a lot of fire alarms, a lot of fire drills at the school. After we heard the first gunshot, we initially thought it was a drill. Actually, that was a bad choice. Hold on.
It's okay, you're fine.
Actually, that was a bad choice because the janitor... Sorry.
It's okay. You're fine, David. You're fine.
Honestly, when I was going out, I was kind of in... I was... Hold on.
It's okay.
When I was going out, I was in shock.
Yeah, saying, I don't know how to put this in perspective. It's okay.
So most of my friends that made it out, one of them went into a bathroom in the same, I believe, in the same hallway as the shooter. Hold on.
It's okay.
One of them went into the same bathroom, I believe, as the hallway shooter. He was in there at the same time, and he was in the bathroom, and he didn't know if he was going to live.
Was it scripted? Does that sound like a person who just wanted to be a gun control activist on his own volition? Is he being used as a pawn? Well, it wouldn't really surprise me if the Democrat Party is exploiting a crisis and using someone to further their political agenda. It's been done time and time again. In terms of where I stand on guns, obviously gun violence is a very serious problem here in America, but that should not give politicians the power to infringe on our Second Amendment rights. The problem is not the access to guns, it is the problem of mental health in this country, which continues to go unaddressed. And as a result, guns are being put into the hands of the wrong people. How do we put guns into the hands of the right people? Guns are not even the primary weapon of choice. Most murders are committed with blunt objects or other means. Taking away a particular weapon is not going to solve the issue. Instead of taking guns away and forcing everyone to live by a strict set of rules, we should be focusing on ways to create a better world that is more conducive to mental health. Our society has become a breeding ground for mental illness, and part of the reason is that we are born into a system that is designed to set us up for failure, to be distraught and confused instead of becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
We are told since childhood to follow a certain path where we base our self-worth on how much money we make, how much we can impress our peers, that you're not special enough if you don't look a certain way or believe the things that the institutions tell you to believe. As a result, people end up hating themselves, are pitted against each other because of the pressure to live up to the expectations of the collective. Is the collective important? Sure. But the goal of woke indoctrination is to place more emphasis on the collective rather than the individual. There needs to be a healthy balance of both. On top of that, all of the corruption, division, and chaos is making the world a very sick place to live. And there is so much unaddressed trauma that can cause someone to be violent. These killers and abusers that are presented in the media, we don't know everything about their childhood, for instance, and most likely they were abused themselves at one point in their lives. There is a lot more at stake here than the access to a particular weapon, and it needs to be dealt with. The last thing that we need to do is infringe on a constitutional right that was designed to stop government from creating more chaos. That's all the time that we have for today. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Inverted World, and I will see you on the next one. We want to thank today's sponsor, Dr. Stella Emanuel. If you remember her from 2020 amid the pandemic, she went viral when she went on with America's frontline doctors, accurately purporting that social distancing and masking was nonsense, and shared her firsthand experience successfully treating patients with hydroxychloroquine. And what did they do? Smear her, of course. Well, she was right. Using the code FIGHTERS, you'll get 5% off any of her detox kits, COVID care, and more. Go to drstellamd.com for a list of all of her products, and don't forget to use the code FIGHTERS for a discount.